Will you please lead us in prayer?
Thank you, Lord, for the day you've given to us today, and thank you for the opportunity for us to be here, to do the business of this city, and to do our very best to help this town progress and go forward. We ask you to be with this council this evening. They would have the wisdom and the understanding to do what's best for us all. In Jesus' name.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everyone. At this time, we'll ask for a roll call.
Acting Mayor Gary Moore.
Present.
City Attorney Darren Rice.
Here.
Alderman Dewey Eckleberry.
Here.
Alderman Cody Atterbury.
Here.
Alderman Clifford Reaver.
Here.
Alderman Tyler Lampley.
Here.
Alderman Eugene McGill.
Present.
Alderman Jerry Lisenby.
Here.
Alderman Terry Stahl.
Here. All right. We will continue on with the meeting since we have a quorum. The next item would be the approval of the minutes of the last meeting. Everybody's had a chance to read those that were included with your packet. Is there any changes or corrections? If not, is there a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll make that motion. I'll second that.
Have a motion by Alderman Stahl, seconded by Alderman Eckleberry to approve the minutes for the October 11th meeting. Roll call vote: McGill.
Yes.
Reaver.
Yes.
Stahl.
Yes.
Atterbury.
Yes.
Eckleberry.
Yes.
Lampley.
Yes.
Lisenby.
Yes.
And that is approved. Following next would be the approvals of the bills that were submitted. You've had a chance to review the bills that were submitted. Is there any question on any of the bills? If none, is there a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion.
Second. Motion by Alderman Eckleberry, seconded by Alderman Lisenby to approve paying the bills for this meeting. Roll call vote: Reaver.
Yes.
Stahl.
Yes.
Atterbury.
Yes.
Eckleberry.
Yes.
Lampley.
Yes.
Lisenby.
Yes.
McGill.
Yes. And the bills are approved. Next would be the public comment section. If you would like to address the council, we will ask that you step up here to the front in just a minute, please. You will state your name, your address, and you will have 3 minutes. Is there anyone that would like to address the council? Step up, please, and state your name.
Hello, my name is Carol Sanders. I live at 605 North First Street. I recently submitted some complaints to the city regarding an incident that occurred on May the 3rd, 2020. I'm sure some folks noticed I didn't stand for the allegiance. That's because I've been so disrespected that it's hard to put it into words. It really is. I stand here with a bachelor's degree in criminal justice, graduated summa cum laude from an accredited university, and I had what I would consider a very minor run-in with the law until the officer felt the need to escalate that situation. Now, the video was cut. Video was removed from Officer Moore's dash cam. I can't prove with certainty that video was removed from Officer Moore's personal cam, but what was released to my public defender until sometime between day 700 and 800 was not full video.
You have 1 minute left.
Okay, so I would like to know if a conspiracy occurred or whether or not KCAC also had that video from the beginning. I would like the city to be involved in discovering whether or not a conspiracy did occur, or whether or not the police was alone in their involvement, and then later police had video requested again because of my public defender stepping in, or like I said, or if this was just, or if both folks were involved. Public defense has not responded to my last 30 emails. Public defense is defense in name only. I'm on my second public defender. The first one, randomly, when my Public defender wasn't there in the courtroom, asked if I should be evaluated for mental fitness to stand trial. That wasn't reported on by the press. I was removed from the courtroom on one day for
Sir, your
talking
time
about my
is
dad
up.
dying
Your
of
time is
COVID.
up.
That wasn't reported by the press.
Your time is up, sir.
Is the press going to report on this? All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to address the council? Please step up.
Tanya Gale, 714 Laurel Street. Ready?
Yep.
Okay. I had an ordeal happen lately, and I'm not going to go into it. You can ask me about it later if you like to. But one of my neighbors that's been there about 5 months has several people staying there. I don't know if they permanently live there or not, but they've got trucks that are so loud that I have recorded them through my bedroom, and you can hear them easily, even blocks down the street. Not only that, they park on the sidewalks. Now, I was told by a former mayor, a police officer, and a city employee that there was an ordinance that said you couldn't do that.
Yes.
I went to Mayor Moore after the instance that had happened with the police officer, and he said that Keith had said that the ordinance was vague and it was something about driving on sidewalks. So I'd like to read the ordinance that I found and see what you think. It says, no person shall cross or pass over or upon any sidewalk with any horse or other animal or team of animals or any wagon, carriage, motor vehicle, carriage, or other vehicle, or ride or drive thereon, except where street crossings are provided. So as far as I'm concerned, that says unless a helicopter drops you on that sidewalk, when you have to cross over that sidewalk to get into a yard, or you're parked on that sidewalk, you're driving on the sidewalk, which it should not be. You know, the city spent a lot of money fixing the sidewalks where people with disabilities or wheelchair access could get on the sidewalks. When these trucks, thank you, when these trucks are parked there, if you're in a wheelchair, you can't get past. I don't understand why something can't be done. The officer that was sent there actually said to me, somebody parks on the sidewalk. Is that why you're here? Didn't go over too well. I told him he was very unprofessional, and he was. He was. So I just want something done. He didn't even talk to the people there. So I'm sure they don't even know that they're not supposed to park on the sidewalk. It's not my job to tell them as their neighbor. You know, I had this boy in class. I've known him since he was little bitty. You know, he's a good kid. He just needs to be told what he can and can't do, what's right and what's wrong. So I'd appreciate if something was done. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Is there anyone else that would like to address the council? Seeing none, we will close the public comment section and move into routine business. Ordinance, or item number one is we've discussed this a little bit, is an ordinance permitting portable cargo container use. We've had some residents that have requested to be allowed to install the big portable containers in their yards. Currently, there is an ordinance that prohibits that, and seems to be that the council was in agree to take a look at changing the ordinance to allow this. And tonight's ordinance will deal with residential only. It will not deal with any commercial. We need to do a little bit tweaking on that ordinance, so we're just going to pass or discuss the residence size of it. And Doug from the zoning board, you know, I mean, there is a limitation, you know, based on how many square feet or how big your lot is of what the size of the container you can have. At this time, I'll just turn it over to Attorney Rice, and he can tell everybody what he drawed up, and then we can have a discussion and go on.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor.
as was mentioned, I had initially, that was sent out in your packets, along with the agenda, was the, kind of what I call it, the first draft of the, ordinance. And, tonight, I have circulated, an ordinance, another draft, but this second draft is basically taking out everything that, has to do with businesses. So in other words, we're only gonna be dealing with, residences and, the question as to, whether they can have portable cargo containers on the residence, and if so, how that's going to be regulated. So, that's, kind of building off of that. The, first, on this, the handout that I provided, the ordinance, it really kind of starts talking, on the regulation side on page 2, where it has about in the middle of the page where it says a container is permitted as an accessory building in the R1, R2, and R3 districts. And then it has kind of what I have is the proposed regulations. And then again, I took out what had initially been circulated was paragraph 2, which was everything that dealt with commercial entities like Walmart, or even like, the hospital and those kind of places that might need to have these and use these cargo containers anyways. So I took any regulation as to that, I took that out, and then replaced it with a new paragraph 2, which is on page 3, and that, as you can see in the middle, that deals with temporary use of a cargo container, such as if you're, using it for like moving out of your home, you can do that, for a limited time, or if you have some type of construction project, you can use, the portable container for that. And then, moving on, I've got down under paragraph 3 there, if you were to alter the cargo container, because I think that was their initial idea behind this, is people, hey, they want to be able to convert these portable cargo containers into using them basically as a workshop rather than like the old, wooden buildings that you can buy. You could also, alternatively use this, and it just kind of reflects that, well, any type of work that's done, it would have to be basically work such that it would maintain the structural integrity of the container. And then finally, the last paragraph 4 deals with, basically making it a violation of this ordinance. If anybody violates it, then they would be subject to, being undergoing a penalty. Now, I've spoken with a few of you before the meeting got started, just one-on-one, and there was a couple of concerns right away, and if you want, I can go ahead and maybe just list some of the stuff, or just kind of, okay, one of them was brought up that, well, we only want to regulate the portable cargo containers, not semi-trailers or truck bodies. So in other words, this would only apply to that, not to semi-trailers like, big wheelers and, or, just a truck body itself and that type of, which I think would be a smaller container. But the suggestion would be, we'll take that part out and deal only with the portable cargo container as that is defined there. Do you want me to kind of pause on each of these?
Yeah, we can, to see if there's any questions. What section was that?
I'm sorry, basically, it would be at the bottom of page 1 and the top of page 2, where we're talking about the definitions. It has a definition for portable cargo container, one for semi-trailer, one for truck body. And then on page 2, under section 2, it's kind of combines all three and says, well, all three of these are what we're going to regulate. And I've been told, like, well, that's not really what was meant, so maybe don't regulate all three, just regulate solely the portable cargo container. So that's the first, or the suggestion.
I get
you get that, I mean, but if you remove that and it's replacing the other thing, now that makes it free game on those, because there's no regulations, no
Prohibition, yeah,
And
I
that's-
know what you meant.
Yeah, that was the question I had.
So if you take it out, because we're replacing the prohibitions on the truck beds and semi-trailers and cargo, and we're replacing it with this, now you remove that part, now there's a no holds bar on truck beds and semi-trailers.
Should we not,
So we'd have to remove that and add in a section that says those are prohibited. So I mean, I know what I'm
Is
fine with.
this
But we need
repealing the
a-
current ordinance?
It is.
It has to,
in
because
part-
the other one just
yeah.
says it's prohibited in the city limits.
Yeah, that is
Yeah.
true. If I can find
Because,
that.
I mean, I agree with what Alderman Lampley's saying, I mean, we don't wanna, you know, eliminate the disallowing of tractor trailers and whatnot, and vote to pass this, and then we have to deal with an issue of semi
right,
trailers or cargoes.
Yeah, and the current ordinance, I'm sorry,
No, you're fine.
it does provide that, basically the blanket prohibition on the placement, parking, and or storage of box trucks, bodies removed from the truck chassis, which is kind of what we're talking about here, and portable cargo containers, which we're also talking about here. But, it currently has a blanket prohibition on using those, for storage. So, yeah.
the only problem I had is in that paragraph, it combined them.
Yeah.
Then from then on, it
Yeah,
said
but
container.
the problem was it didn't
Right.
reevaluate the prohibition. Because it needed to say, you know, just talk about cargo, but we're repealing the other one that says that those, so it just needs to have another line that says, these are still prohibited.
Or
If that's what everybody
these
wants.
are excluded from this ordinance.
Well, if we're repealing the other one, then
Yeah.
it'll have to still say that there's a prohibition.
Okay, so the bottom line is you still wanna have it prohibited to use truck body beds.
Yeah, semi-trailer, I mean,
Or semi.
they wouldn't, you know, hold up to a standard to sit out, I mean, all the time with no use and things like that aren't being maintained, like a cargo, which is steel and,
Right,
Like a Hertz truck body,
mhm,
I mean, are those are prohibited?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that would be, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So would this just be like a draft and we come back?
That's what,
Next-
yeah,
yeah,
I think so,
next meeting.
since we, have some questions. So I can do that, I can make it reflect that, well, we're primarily talking about the allowance of the portable cargo containers, but we're still keeping the others prohibited from being used, so I can,
I mean, if that's what.
if that's what everybody
Yeah,
wants.
I mean, I don't wanna us to do it, I mean, if I'm speaking out of turn, so.
No,
It makes it, what, Lamsley said was the way it should be.
Yeah,
The shipping containers only, not, I know the truck box on it.
I guess maybe the only thing I'd say is since we're addressing allowing this, if we don't address allowing them, we don't have an ordinance that says they allowed them, so they're disallowed.
right, right.
You know,
That's true.
I mean, you know, it's kinda like, you know, if there's not a rule that says you can, you can't, or if there's
Yeah.
not a rule that says you can't, you can.
Yeah, right.
That don't make sense, because
The
the
ordinance
body
would
there.
need to be made clear though, so our codifiers would know exactly what to remove and what to put in. You know what I'm saying?
What were you saying, Eugene?
I'm saying the truck body is aluminum.
Mhm.
I mean, they can be maintained,
Yeah.
just like a shipping container, so I'm lost on that.
Oh, I've just seen a lot more of those type of truck bodies that just deteriorate more, but I mean, I'm up for whatever, you know, the roofs on them just don't seem to hold up. I mean, we get a lot of semi-trailers in that just don't hold up, the walls aren't built the same as a steel cargo shipping container.
That's true.
I think the shipping containers are more uniform. The truck bodies are, there's just so much variance on the way the design. It just looks, I'm not okay with the truck bodies.
Shipping containers only takes the loophole out of everything, so to speak. Plain and simple, it's a shipping container, not a truck body and all that.
Okay, where we at?
So what do we, I mean, do we want to, does Attorney Rice need to revamp the one so that we can exclude
there more issues?
Yeah, there's more issues.
If you want, I can kind of go through a few of the other
Okay.
issues. One of them was that, this is under paragraph 1C on page 2, and that's about, it says the container shall be painted in one solid monochromatic color so as to blend in with the building, which it is an accessory, and so that there is no visible writing. And so the idea was to to add in there that it should be done within 30 days of it being installed, or at such additional time as may be allowed, like for weather and that kind of thing. So basically just putting a time
Oh, putting it,
constraint.
okay.
Yeah.
I was
Whenever you
like,
have to-
I'm like, I like the paragraph, okay,
No,
I was like, what are we changing on?
Well, we just didn't put a time limit on there.
Okay,
Just
yeah.
putting a time limit, and then going down the very next sentence where it talks about the container will be placed on the property to minimize visibility. And then that second sentence there, if everybody sees that, where it talks about a screening and landscaping buffer, that whole sentence, the proposal is to take that out. So, does everybody see that, what I'm talking about? Where it says a screening and landscaping buffer with a height greater to or equal to the container must be installed to minimize the visibility of the container to the road and other residences. That's,
So basically, as it is written, they would have to install
right,
something to hide it.
yeah,
Bushes
and,
or shrubs or something.
Yeah.
That'd
yeah,
be an awful tall shrub.
yeah, well, I mean, and then, in all honesty, I'm the one that typed it in and everything, but I mean, that would be kind of difficult to, what is good enough, or
Right.
does it have to be completely, or is it just, it says it's being screened to buffer. In other words, to kind of break the line of sight would be how I think it would be interpreted, but in any
I wouldn't
event.
be
As
opposed to
long as
removing
it's
that.
painted like it's supposed to be and whatnot,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter if it's buffered or
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
I'd say remove that.
Okay, so I've got that, I think, I've got that crossed out. And then down a few, we're at, under letter I, the container should be placed a minimum of, and I've got 10 feet from any residential or accessory structure on a property. Looking at the zoning code, I think typically, like in the back, it's 7 feet from it. We were gonna add maybe 3 more feet, but, one request was like, well, why don't you just keep it the way it currently is zoned, and, can't argue with that. So, I mean, the way it currently is 7 feet, at least
So it has to be 7 feet away from from your home,
yeah,
or
or any,
garage,
yeah,
or.
exactly.
No. That would be 7 feet from the property line.
Let's see,
Accessory structures,
Or does it say structures?
residential structures.
Really?
sorry, I'm going through, on R1s, the minimum requirements is a setback of 7 feet in the rear yard, so it would be actually from the, property line there. Yeah, but if you want, I mean, the idea was to keep it so many feet from a house or an accessory structure. We had 10, I don't know if you want me to keep it that way, or
Is
leave
this,
it to
is
7?
this your house or buildings or someone else's?
It would
property
be
line?
the property owners, their house or buildings, or accessories.
Doug, do you have any thoughts, since you're the zoning officer?
7 feet would probably cover both the setback and at least leave some distance from buildings, and that changing it from 10 to 7 would probably make it a uniform distance that could be measured from any object, probably, wouldn't be that big a difference. 3-foot difference, and there is also something in there about all setbacks will be obeyed as well, so you may be double covering there as far as property lines concerned, but it's more in the spirit of keeping it from butting right up against the house or garage or whatever building that might be at, leaving some space in between there. So 7 or 10 feet or whatever you wanna use is okay, because the setbacks still got to be obeyed anyway
That's true.
on the back portion.
Okay. him saying that, what's the thought of the council? 7 or 10?
I'm okay with the property lines, but I don't know about structures.
Having to have a setback or having a setback?
Have to have a setback from another structure on your own property.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, you might wanna just
I
make
don't
it an
think you need
extension of your garage, you might wanna be able to walk from the garage into it without distance between them or something.
I guess, Alderman Nickelberry, I'll ask, I mean, why are you looking to restrict?
No, I don't wanna restrict the
So-
setback from
The
another
setback is,
structure.
it has to be at least 7 or 10 feet away from your house or your garage, so there has to be a gap. He's saying that if you want it close,
Yeah, if you want
closer,
it
you should be
closer,
able to have it closer.
I don't think we should restrict having it closer.
But having said that, I mean, earlier, we talked about where we don't want it to, I mean, it's gonna be not being able to be hooked up to, gas, water, sewer.
Right.
And you're not gonna be able to use it as a living, you're not gonna be able to classify it as, living space or a mini home or something like that.
Yeah, it should be,
If you're gonna be butting them up, I think we're maybe, if you're gonna allow people to butt them, I mean, I get the thing of wanting to walk between them or walk out and walk straight into it. But I don't, let's not create ourselves any more headaches. Is my thought. And maybe, maybe I envision this, maybe we're trying to overthink the situation, I think when a customer, the one that came to Doug that kind of spurred this conversation, he was just looking to put one in his yard for storage, and, he was told that we couldn't because it was prohibited by ordinance. I think, you're never gonna get anything 100% to satisfy everybody, but I think if we're allowing them to put the storage containers, we're changing the ordinance to allow a storage container to be placed. It's still limited to, 30%, not to exceed 30% of your lot coverage. And if we follow the setbacks, and I don't have a problem, like Doug said, double covering it, for a minimum of 10 feet from any residential structures. I mean, if we keep it away from them, maybe we don't have to deal with the ones that think, well, I can use it as a bare bedroom or,
Doghouse.
poker playing facility. I mean, I understand both sides of it,
Right.
but I think somewhere we just need to say, hey, here's what we're gonna do, and believe that that's the best thing,
Yeah, I do see your point after you mentioned hook up electricity, if you had it butted up there, those things are dark inside.
Yes.
You'd end up having electric in there for a light or something.
Yes.
so I'm good with, 7 or 10 feet, you can put a pathway to it and.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Anything else? Oh,
No, I think that was all that I had kind of, put together, and I appreciate everybody kind of helping me out on that. I'll try to put together another, set, yeah, go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
No.
Are we limited just to 200 square feet?
Yeah,
On
that's-
Section 2 in,
What are they normally size-wise? Cause that'd be a 20 by
20.
10, but I don't know.
8 foot
they're,
wide.
they're 8 foot wide, 10 and 20 foot long, which is 160 square feet, and a 40 by 8 would be 320.
People are gonna want a 40 footer.
well, the thing we need to discuss there is, remember, we're gonna have to take a look at the lot size. Doug's
Yeah,
gonna have to take a look
most
at-
40 footers are gonna take up
They're
more than 30%.
gonna be more than 30% of, of the available spot, I'm not for sure that we even need to limit it. I mean, it's, because if Doug goes and looks at this place and it's, a 12-foot container is 30%, that's the biggest that they can have. I think, the size of the lot, it will be driven to the size of the container.
So you,
I agree with that.
you wanna take that?
And that's my, you got,
Yeah, I would be,
give some
Well,
input.
I'm fine with leaving it in, cause it kinda double covers, and somebody doesn't even try to go buy one and then ask for an exception, because they already bought one, and then we get, I mean, a 40-foot long container in the city limits is a pretty big container for a residential person. They're gonna use that more than just a garden shed.
Could that be moved up to?
Well, I mean, you.
Well, no, I'm just saying that, you know,
So would you make it 320 or something?
I'd make it,
just to
I'd make
cover
it
that?
320 max.
Could you move that up into I, a total lot coverage of all structures combined not to exceed 30% of the lot coverage or,
Total 320 square feet.
yeah,
Right, total, and then which one would be, or whichever one is less, or?
right,
Okay.
yes.
Total.
Because I agree, if somebody has an acre of land or something compared to somebody who's got a tiny lot,
So total lot coverage of 200 or 320, what is it?
320.
320 square feet for whichever is less.
Yeah, I mean, it'll all based on the 30% anyway.
That makes sense.
All right, any other discussions with the storage? If not, we'll ask Attorney Rice to redraft the ordinance and bring it back to the next meeting for approval. Okay, the next item, number 2, last council meeting, we heard from Mr. Spurlock requesting a line water extension. At that time, we had a material list of what it would cost. And I think that was 38,000 some change. Brad has spoke with Connor and Connor to try to get some easements language and some additional fees that they use. So I'm gonna say probably, I'm just gonna put the cost at about $50,000. You know, cause usually when you go to digging or buying something, you miss something, so exceeded a little bit. Alderman Stahl last time made a comment to see if the residents might be willing to chip in and help offset the cost. I spoke with Mr. Spurlock this afternoon, and he is willing to contribute $10,000 to the cost of the project. Discussion? So that would, you know, if you put, 50 minus the 10 would be, the city would be on the hook for the $40,000. Thoughts?
Any of your neighbors gonna go in on it?
I haven't spoke with any of the neighbors. You got Doug Wilson across the street. The structures that are on my farm, the other 2 that's gonna be hooked up, is gonna be mine. There'll be 3 different services on my farm. And then one young guy that, he don't have no money. I can just tell you right now. I'm about the only one on that farm that's got any money, so. As far as neighbors across the street, Doug Wilson, I'm sure if he's wanting water and he want to change that line up, I'm sure that's a discussion, we could probably have with him. And see what he's willing to contribute, if any, I don't know. I couldn't tell you, I'm just telling you what I can give you.
Where's Doug getting his water from?
So Doug has a line, he's got over 2,000 feet of line buried through Jimmy Joe McClary's farm, from the blacktop all the way into his house. And he's had 2 leaks in it already. It's leaking now as we speak in his levee. In order to fix that leak, bust the levee, he's gonna lose his pond. So if the line comes in, he's willing to pipe in from
Is
the.
that a New
750.
Hope water extension line to Doug, or is Doug buying from New Hope,
No, Doug is buying from you.
from the city? Okay.
Yes. It's coming from Blacktop.
Okay.
Well, can you see if any of the others would be interested in going in on part of this? I mean, New Hope Water District is where it's at, but
Yeah, I mean, I can talk with Doug. I mean, he's about the only one that I could talk to that probably would be able to donate, you know what I'm saying? The other home on my farm, he's a single dad, works at Walmart, so I would say he's not gonna be able to, he just, if it's coming in, he want to tie in and pay the city for water services, right? So, the house next to it, I'll be taking care of it, the house in my place, and the farm back there in the back, be all three my services, 3 different services tied in.
And if anybody's had any questions, I spoke with Anthony Vaughn, who is the president of New Hope Water, and I kinda quizzed him, hey, why aren't you running it? Anthony says they wasn't opposed to running it, but, they wanted it to be a 75-25 split, with the resident kicking in the 75%.
It was 100% whenever
Well,
I
that's
did.
that's what I talked with Anthony.
It was 100%, it was the only way he'd run it whenever I talked to him, estimated it 5 or 6 years ago.
Yeah, I did talk with
Wanted me to
Anthony.
absorb all of it and then turn it over to him.
Yeah,
That's
I
his
spoke
water
with
line.
Anthony
And I'm not
earlier
good
this
with
week,
that.
yeah. And that's what he said, but he says,
I mean,
we're,
If the water line belongs to me, I'm good with it,
Yeah,
I'll pay for
yeah,
it, you know what I
yeah.
mean, but.
Anthony said that they would have to hire somebody to put it in, Anthony said that they would have to incur the cost for the consultant, where Brad and his group's gonna put it in, was his input, but, any other, what are you guys thinking?
Well, I think you've got a pretty close estimate, 50,000, if the landowners could come up with half some way, the different people get different people to hook on, then I think probably the city could do the other half and furnish the labor to put the line in.
Where it stands right now, the spread, what we make on water is just not enough for us to go that far into debt for that. I would love to help out, and Terry's proposal isn't too bad if we can get some other people to chip in, cause there might be some people elsewhere that we can get closer, and I don't know, but right now, it's just too far out of reach, a $40,000 gap.
Is there anyone past your house to the east?
So, there's a little home place up in front, across from Doug Wilson, in between him and I.
Oh, okay.
Belongs to, Phyllis Christie.
Yeah.
She had passed, and I guess Jeff owns it now. Jeff's talking about moving a trailer, a double wide or something out there. He contacted me before, right after I talked to Gary tonight, and, actually said he was interested, but like I said, I don't know what kind of funds these people got.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? I'm gonna be about 500,000 in this house right here, so, about 10,000 is about all I can scratch right now, honestly, to get this done.
So, go ahead, Jerry.
How many years you been trying to get this done? It's a long time.
16 years.
16 years.
16 years.
Well,
And,
I guess, I'll ask,
I'd like to go.
if there's that 50-50 match out there, are we willing to do it?
I'd like to do it for the 40,000, get it over with. This guy's been that long trying to get water to his place.
Okay,
We've spent money like that before for a lot worse things.
I'll second Jerry's solution.
other thoughts?
Yeah, I just can't get there at the 40,000. Well, I think they made a motion in a second there.
Yeah, I guess if there's a motion on the floor to approve the water line extension, are you gonna allow him to contribute his 10,000, are you gonna?
Yeah.
Okay, so your motion on the floor would be to approve a $10,000 donation from Mr. Spurlock, and the city, absorb the rest of the cost.
Right.
And we have a second by Alderman McGill. Yes?
Yep.
Okay, roll call vote?
Roll call vote, Stahl,
No.
Atterbury,
Yes.
Eckelberry,
No.
Lampley,
No.
Lisenby,
Yes.
McGill,
Yes.
Reaver,
No.
5-3.
It's 5-3, or 4-3.
4 to 3.
4 to 3 is a decline? Okay. So that motion has been defeated. The next thing that we can do, if we want to try to continue to see what can be done, is to see if there's any other residents out there that would be willing to,
If we can offset it, I'd be willing to revisit it.
okay?
Yeah.
Like I said, I got 10 grand.
Okay. And if you will, if you, Mr. Spurlock, will give me the names of your, I mean, I know Doug and, you know, I mean, I would be more than happy to make the contact with
Like I
those.
said, Doug Wilson, you can talk to Jeff Christie. Like I said, I don't know if the guy has any money. I don't know the guy. I talked to him maybe twice in my life since he's been here.
All right, and I'll get with Brad, and if there's anything else out there that, you know, maybe we could look at, do a cheaper installation, we'll take a look at it. Everybody agreeable to that?
So as it stands now, it's not a dead issue.
Well, your proposal has been defeated, but you know, I think the council has let it be known that if we can get more contributions to help offset the cost, we'll revisit it.
We can still work on it.
Yes. Okay, I'll get with you and I'll get with Brad and we'll see what we can do and we'll bring it, we'll come back.
Like I said, you touch base with Doug, see
Okay.
where he's at with it.
Okay, all right.
I mean, if he's already spending money to fix a line, it might be a lot cheaper for him to.
Well, I can tell you, he's got a whole lot more money than I do.
All right, we'll move on to, the last item on this evening's agenda, and that's, discussion and the approval of the sale of or destruction of city-owned vehicles and equipment. And here, I know we've always had, if we got excess vehicles, we put them up for bid. There was a pickup truck out to the water filtration, that has a blown motor. You know, so I'm just going to ask that we, instruct the city garage, to put that on a trailer and take it down to Lewis's and scrap it. If we put it up for a bid, it costs us some extra money to advertise and yada, and so, I mean, as far as that, we'd just like to dispose of that vehicle and be done with it. There was a truck bed in, or not a truck bed, truck box, and I've asked him to remove that. The other item that I know of, and I've had one other one mentioned, we purchased a new side-by-side for the cemetery because the gator out there was inoperable, caused troubles, but today we still have that, and so I'm going to ask that we dispose of that side-by-side. You know, it was, you know, inoperable, not good, you know, so let's get rid of it while it's running.
Gator not side by side.
Or, okay, a gator,
Yeah, gator.
and now also Alderman McGill made mention that there was a lawnmower out to the cemetery that has, went through its second engine. We can, I would just say scrap that too and be done with it. There's no, I think for the money that we get from putting it up for bid to the money that it costs for us to advertise for bids and whatnot, I'm not for sure that it's a profitable, so I would ask that, that we just put those on a trailer and take them to Lewis's scrapyard and get what we can get out of them.
I'll make that motion if you need.
But the gator you're gonna put up for bid.
We're gonna sell it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if we're gonna can we just sell that thing?
Well, if it's under 25,000, you can.
It's under 25,000.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so,
Put more than that park.
Well, how do we,
how do we,
without putting it out for bid?
You can, if you have more than 2/3 vote, you could.
But sell it to who?
tell you about
I
the
don't
first
know.
one?
Well, you
first
would have
bring
to
us
have,
money.
yeah, I don't know. I'm saying you can do it without bidding, I don't know the best procedure.
You're supposed to tell me how to do it. Darren.
Okay.
We just put a sales price in the first person that.
Yeah, it says sales price, and the first person that gets here with cash gets it.
Do we have a price in mind, or we can just go ahead and vote with the ESA, we have to have 2/3 vote, and just put it out there?
Well, Kevin told me prior to getting the new one that you might be able to get as much as 4,000 or 5,000 out of it. So at that price, it'd be worth putting out for bid.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's got hydraulic snow blade on it, so that's worth some money there.
So we wanna make a motion to scrap the lawnmower and scrap the truck and put the, Gator out for bid with a minimum bid of $4,000.
Or just the sales price, first person that buys it, buys it.
Yeah, no minimum bid.
That would,
No bid.
that wouldn't have a minimum bid.
That is for sale for $4,000.
Mm-hmm. First person with the check.
First
gets
come,
it.
first served.
First person with the check gets it.
Legal.
Okay, we'll close down then.
Yes,
Okay.
it's legal, but
Okay. So is everybody all right with that?
We're all advertising, was that one you?
How much did advertising cost?
Okay. So is there a motion? Is there a motion on the floor to scrap the pickup truck, scrap the lawnmower, put a sell price of $4,000 on the Gator, and it is first come, first served basis?
I will make that motion.
Second.
Roll call.
Roll call, Atterbury,
Yes.
Eckelberry.
Yes.
Lampley,
Yes.
Lizenby,
Yes.
McGill,
Yes.
Reaver,
Yes.
Stahl.
Yes.
And that motion approves. That will conclude the routine business and 3 items. I thought we'd be out here a little quicker. Under the miscellaneous section, the only thing that I will say is Friday, October the 28th is our annual fire chili supper. Now, this year, we will be open for dine-in from 11 to 1 and 5 to 7. And the drive-up pickup will be available at 10 a.m. Chief Miller says they're going to cook 120 gallons. 120 gallons. So I hope everybody will be waiting in line like a couple of other establishments, maybe backed up, and we can get the 120 gallon of chili so quickly, but maybe leave enough for the dining. That's all I have under miscellaneous. Does anybody else have any comments for
Remind
miscellaneous?
everybody, November the 5th is the Veterans Day Parade.
November the 5th is the
2
Veterans Day
o'clock.
Parade, 2 o'clock. This weekend, I guess I'll renege a little bit. This weekend is trick or treat. You know, we ask that, you know, if you're out driving around, please be cautious and watch for the little children. If you choose not to want to be bothered 2 days or 1 day or any days, please just turn your porch light off and they will bypass your house. Anybody else got anything for miscellaneous?
I just want to thank the city employees for the job they do.
We've got some good employees. Yes, we do. Yeah. Other than that, is there a motion to adjourn? Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much.